In this tip, I'm trying to get you to do a simple golf swing. So a lot of people out there, are confused. Some people are so confused they end up quitting golf. Okay? It's like, yeah, I've been there. I know all about quitting golf. I actually quit a long time ago for 2 years. So if you don't know my story, I was a self-taught scratch golfer by the time I was 17. So I was self-taught, never had a lesson, 17, scratch golfer. Wanted to be a pro, so I went down to Florida when I was 19. Courses down there, they were pretty tough. They're tree lined like this. So I'm hitting some bad shots into these trees. I'm like, I got to start taking lessons. So I went to my head pro, hey, hitting some bad shots. I want to fix these shots. Can I do a lesson? He goes, oh yeah, sure. So we do a lesson, and he decides he's going to change my whole swing. This was a complete disaster. My first round after I took that lesson was 96. Shot 90s, 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 90s. The whole week goes by. I'm shooting in the 90s. Again, complete disaster. I'm like, oh my God, I need another lesson. So I take another lesson, 90s, 90s, 90s. Maybe a high 80s round in there, 90s, 90s. He gets too busy, leaves me on my own. I know nothing about the golf swing. Shooting in the 90s. I hit 1,000 balls a day, every day, 7 days a week for 2 years, hitting it sideways. Yeah, I counted them. 1,000 balls a day, every day, 7 days a week for 2 years. Think about that. Balls going 100 yards this way or 100 yards that way. I wanted to see how many fairways I could hit with my driver, so I'd measure out a fairway. Yeah, I was at 20%. Like, you could literally turn around 3 times, close your eyes, and get more than 20% in that fairway. That's how bad I was. Did that for 2 years. Okay, so if anybody knows about quitting, it's me. You could not hit any more balls in a day than I'm hitting, and I'm getting nowhere. So I quit golf for 2 years. All right, so I know all about it. Got back into golf, started going to some of the best teachers in the world, started working on my swing, positions, all this stuff. Man, I'm still hitting it sideways. Started, diagnosing and analyzing every morsel of my golf swing. So I know all about being confused too. So how did I get it back? Well, my swing didn't look bad. This is after 8 more years of working on positions. Okay, 2 years hitting 1,000 balls a day, 8 years of working positions. I got it back because I stopped trying to hit the golf ball with my arms, and I made the golf swing super simple. I stopped all this analyzing all this stuff. Okay, it's just making my mind, cluttering my mind. Okay, I needed simple. That's why I teach simple stuff. If you haven't followed me for any period of time, start watching some of my tips. You'll see how simple I make it. I do that on purpose because I don't want this to be complicated. If I make this complicated, you will never get this. All right, so I know a lot of people out there are, they've just found me or whatever. They're saying, hey, I'm confused. How do I do this? You know what I mean? So if that's you, I can totally relate. So here's how simple you make this. You want to break it down into basically 2 parts. All right, it's hinge and rehinge, coil and uncoil. Okay, so what are we hinging and rehinging? We are hinging our wrists. So you can see that makes like an L. That comes through and makes a backwards letter L. It hinges, it rehinges. It hinges, it rehinges. All right, that's a huge piece to this because that's how you're going to get most of your club head speed. So what do most people do? Most people are not hinging properly. They're all locked up right here, and then they try to whack at the ball as hard as they can. They do a massive chicken wing, and they don't rehinge. All right, so just the simple thought of hinge, rehinge, hinge, rehinge. How does a hinge work in life? Well, a hinge is loose, isn't it? Like, you don't have rusty hinges on your front door, do you? You'd be having trouble getting inside your house. No, the hinges are well oiled. There's no resistance. That's how loose you need your wrists. So the next time you grab your doorknob, open and close a door, think, oh, that's how loose he's telling me my wrists should be. All right, so see your wrists not as wrists. This is a hinge. It hinges right here. It rehinges. It hinges. It rehinges. Okay, so you can do that and then just start hitting some balls. So you're here like this, you do your grip and setup. Oh, I'm gonna hinge and rehinge. Okay, that is a piece of the swing. That's not the whole swing, that's a piece. So what you do is you just sit here, hinge, rehinge. How do you know you're doing it? Well, you'll know you're doing it when you're hitting the ball either straight or you're hooking it. If you hit it with the face open, your hinge is too tight. So you've started with that, the face looking like that. You hinge it. Now let's say you lock this up. It would come through open, wouldn't it? Yeah, a loose hinge would never do that though. A loose hinge would come back exactly where it started 100% of the time, and then it would rehinge. It would hinge, it would come back to where it started, and then it would rehinge 100% of the time. So if you're, hitting the shots with slice spin on them, then your hinge is too tight. So you keep working on that. Hinge, rehinge, until every ball either goes straight or it has a bit of hook to it. Got it, that's half. All right, now you gotta switch over to the next part. You're gonna coil and uncoil. So think of like a spring. See a spring like this all the way up to your shoulders, okay? How would a spring work? Well, it would coil this way. Okay, so we're gonna coil with our shoulders, and then we're gonna uncoil from the bottom up. Coil from the top, uncoil from the bottom. Coil, uncoil. Okay, coil, uncoil. Like literally that simple. Keep it as circular as you can possibly get it. All right, so you've worked on half, hinge, rehinge. You hit it straight or, hooking it a little bit. And now you think, okay, now I'm gonna add the body. So you do your setup. Now right here, just let your arms be totally relaxed. You're thinking of, let's say for this tip, let's think shoulders. Visualize a spring in your mind. Oh, we're gonna coil up a spring like that, okay? So once we coil it up, we uncoil it with our lower body. Coil with your shoulders, uncoil with your legs and hips. All right? So that would be 2 very simple thoughts, wouldn't it? That should give you a pretty decent shape to your swing and get you hitting some pretty amazing shots. All right, so I don't want people to be confused. I want this to be so unbelievably simple. You grasp the concept and you can easily do this and start getting results. If I make this complicated, no one's ever gonna get this. All right, simple is the key. You've got to do it very, very simple. All right, so those are 2 very simple thoughts. Hinge, rehinge, coil, uncoil, okay? So hopefully you kind of see that and you're gonna get to work on it. You could even be doing that just in practice swings in your backyard, okay? If you're getting out here, you're all confused, hitting a golf ball, I know it can be super frustrating. So just stop hitting balls for, a week or so. Just work in your backyard, hinge, rehinge, coil, uncoil, okay? Get those other thoughts totally out of your mind. Then come out to the range, warm up, then go up to like a 7-iron. Tee it up, make it easy, give yourself a little room for error by putting it on a tee, and just start to think of those 2 things that I just said. Watch your ball, and it's gonna tell you exactly what to do, all right? So there's no reason to be confused, okay? I've been there. I know all about it. Frustrated? I've been there a million times. I know all about it. When I made it simple, I got my swing back after 10 years, and I was doing it every day. This wasn't once a week for me. This was every day for 10 years. All right? So whatever you've done, I've done it a million times before. So I'm the guy you want to listen to because I have done what you have done. All right? So keep it simple, and then you'll start to get your swing back, and then hopefully you keep it simple forever. I truly hope you've enjoyed this tip. I've been teaching a powerful, effortless, pain-free golf swing now since 1991. If you'd like to learn this type of swing, then click on this link right here or click the link in the description below, and I'll send you some free samples of my body swing book and video series that take you step by step by step through how to build a powerful, effortless, pain-free golf swing.